Okay.
All right. Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. It is 1 minute before 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm just going to welcome you to the last hour of the New York session for Wednesday, February 23rd. So thank you for joining us, and hope you are doing well. All right. So we'll wait for a few more people to join us here for the last hour, and we'll continue on. So I'll do an overview of what transpired today, just to give everybody an update as to where we are at right now in the markets.
Oh, we're waiting for some attendees at this point.
Yeah, wait to give another couple minutes here to see if anyone comes. So just take a look at what's here. Let's see.
SPX was down, is down 61.
Yeah, there are a number of. I mean, everything is down today. So practically, let me just remove this stuff.
Driven by the war in Ukraine.
We've got IGV. That's the iShares tech sector, really getting hit hard. So they're just big, huge move down. They're kind of the barometer for the tech sector. SPX.
That looks like the NASDAQ.
Yeah, there's the SPX. They look almost identical. So this one's coming up to support here, but this 1, 2, 3 and another 1, 2, 3 is not good. So we could get a bounce here, of course, but then it's still going to go down one more time. So it's a very nasty looking chart here. That's.
What was the symbol for the tech sector, Lennox?
IGV.
IGV. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a barometer for the entire tech sector. So you can see they're essentially they're similar. In the 1, 2, 3 here, we're heading straight down. And of course, the barometer for the stock market is the S&P futures here, and they're very, very weak as well. Not looking good. So it looks like there's still something ominous setting up, because it doesn't look like we're going to get bouncing here at all. It looks like we're just going to drop right through. That's a total possibility. Yeah, we just slice right through here. But by Friday, we should be
down even more. Down 10% on this.
Yeah. VXX, our VXX, see how it's starting to bud. It's springing a little bud like it's springtime. So on the daily, really looking to push above these highs here. I'm holding the contracts in this to the upside. So, and of course we have our IWM, and that's just looking.
I unloaded mine the other day when it was up to
VXX.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still holding on to mine. 4 hour. We're really pushing down below again, so we're heading back down. Could have hung in there with my 194s, but I thought I'd take them off. 15, because we're sitting right at that cusp. 5. So on the 15, so this is the channel that we came into on IWM. So for those who are just coming in now, we're seeing the basic channel pattern where we're just moving up and down in the channel. heading back to the downside of the channel. So we're looking to go and meet this line down lower, and very weak at this point. So just going to give you an overview of what we did this morning. So on looking at the 5-minute time frame. So this morning the market opened up this bar right here, and we waited. Didn't want to jump in, so I'm going to go down to the 1-minute chart. We'll go through it step by step, and that'll make it even better. So go back over. Okay, so this is where the market opened. So remember, on the higher time frame, we're in this channel, and we're coming down in the channel like this. And so we were at this point here. So right here, we were, from yesterday, we were here. So my expectation, and we always have to have an expectation of where price is going to go, otherwise we can't play the game. So the expectation was that price would move to the upside. So at this point, when the market opened, I didn't want to go long, because even though I get a 1, 2, 3 and I'm breaking this red bar and so forth, I don't want to go long here, because my expectation is that price is not going to go very high, because we're just pushing up to the top of this channel, as it were. So I don't want to go long. It wouldn't give me very much profit by doing that. So what I want to do is to go short. And so I have to be patient and wait out a 1, 2, 3 top, which finally played out. So at this point, my stop would be here, and then I'd be looking to enter on a breach of a red candle.
We both got in on that red candle.
Yeah, so this is like the perfect entry here, where your risk is very small. So by entering there, at that point, buying the 197s, I believe we bought. Yeah, 197 puts.
Yeah.
So now looking for targets down to this area. And so moved down, took some profits off here, took some profits off at the bottom here. Actually expecting price to now retrace this move. This was the expectation. And then I wanted to jump in, because the overall expectation is that price is heading to the downside, and I want to catch the move to the downside. So a move to the upside here would have been great to jump in. But when price got down here, you can see it didn't want to retrace. It tried, but it couldn't. The bulls couldn't push it. So it just kept going down. So it kept going down to this area. So that's fine. Okay, so you just kind of go with it. We were a little bit chagrined that we got out of our positions so early, but that's okay. We made some profits, and I doubled my money basically, so that was okay. So now it's just a matter of, okay, can we catch a bounce? Will it retrace this move? So when we were leaving this morning, after we closed the session, we were down here, and I was looking for a move, a 1, 2, 3 move. I think we were down in this area here. So I was looking for a 1, 2, 3 move.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah, we're looking for a move to the upside from here. I'm thinking that, okay, we're done this move now. Looked like we were pretty well done, but again, the market said, no, we're not done yet. So I bought into some calls. I bought the 197 calls at this point, looking to go up. Okay, so market said, no, I'm not really done yet. We're still heading down. So I said, okay, I'll hang on to those, and hang on. And I hung on to them. And at this point here, it came all the way down and made another 1, 2, 3. It's a little one, and then a bigger one, and so on. So I decided, okay, I'm going to buy some more to go back up. And so I held on, and it started to slowly climb. And you can see it made nice 1, 2, 3s in there. So we did one there, did another one there, another one there. So now it's looking okay, that maybe it's going to go. So it's really choppy, but it's stair stepping. And so I hung on to the calls, and you can see it went right back up past 197 up to 197.30. Yeah, and that's where at this point I decided, okay, I'm going to take some profit off the tape. So took them all off up here, And then I said, okay, now that it's finally done what I was expecting, because again, remember we're in the channel and I'm looking for a move to the downside. So I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 top at this point now to continue to the downside. So that's what I was looking for. And so I'm looking for one to form up here. So at this point, it starts to do this and it forms a 1, 2, 3 top.
Nice
so now
top.
I said, okay, I'm going to jump into a 1, 2, 3 top. And actually I was already in. I got in from here. I bought the puts from this break of this green candle. And then the 1, 2, 3 formed. So I bought the 196 puts this time. And let's see what happens. So then I'm in again, going down. It's just down, straight down. Boom, 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 boom. So at this point, I took some off when it got down into this area, and then bought the 194 puts. And here we go again. It just keeps going. This is where we're at right now. So it's still dropping, and we're still going down. So yeah, this is where we're at currently, and I could have certainly have held on to my 194 puts for even longer. So still going with, yeah, so we're there. So I just took the profits off just in here, right there, just before we came on of everything. So my 196 puts bought for $70 were, let me just see if I can get the price currently. They are trading at 246 right now.
Yeah, 246, right.
Yeah, so this is, 246 here. Here they were about 240. So they went back up, and of course time has passed. So now they've become a little less. So they're about the same, kind of sort of the same. So 240. So from $70 to 240, that's just stupendous, right? That's the kind of moves. And even buying a couple contracts, you can make a quick money. So the beauty of this is that on this time frame, again, you can see the formations right in front of your eyes happening. You can then make these plays, and in the same day, in the same hour, make profits with limited risk and maximum profits. The whole key to this is being able to understand where you are in the overall structure as we're going. And if you can keep that in mind, like I said, we were in this channel, and that was the key to it, to understand that you're in a channel and where you are in that channel, and you can make those decisions as you catch those 1, 2, 3s, those moves, and you can make profits on every single one of them if you so inclined. So now the move.
Lennox,
Yes.
I find that once I get in on that, usually in the 1 minute time frame, that I like to switch up to usually the 3 minute or 5 minute charts. So I reduce some of the noise at that point, and I still have a good idea of the flow.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, because you can get an idea of, especially if how I've drawn this with the channel lines.
Yeah,
you can then gauge where you are overall in the bigger picture. So it's always a good idea to move up and down, just to kind of, as long as you don't get lost in where you are. So if you understand where you are, then it's okay. But if you're going to get lost if you move up and down, then it's a good idea not to do that.
Yeah,
So,
right. Well,
once
I've established it, and usually what happens, I set my fibs on there so I know where my target is. It's then easier to watch it on the higher time frame. Not a high time frame being probably no higher than 5 minutes, but you reduce a lot of the noise at that point.
So one of the things, of course, that you can do is, if you feel you're going to get lost, highlight where you are. you know, so
Yeah,
like you can
exactly.
highlight here, and then when you go back down to the 5 minute, you have an idea. Oh, okay, this is where that
Yeah,
1, 2, 3 is. You
exactly.
can see that, and then you go to the 1 minute and you go and find that area again. You say,
Yeah.
oh, I see now. Now I see where I am. There's that 1, 2, 3, and so on. So that's very, very critical for you to keep yourself.
Well, what I do is I squish the chart down in size, and that way it does the same thing as you're doing, you know.
Yes. So that's a good way of doing it. Yeah. So right now, again, we're right at a base move here. So really good, like again, good profit potential all the time if you can do this. And you know, it's not totally inconceivable for someone to do this on a daily base, you know, 5 days a week, you know, say for an hour, you know, hour and a half in the morning or afternoon, whichever, and you know, pull in say from $250 to $1,000 per day is totally doable. You know, it's not like it's totally outlandish that you can do that. You don't have to aim for you know, 1,000, but you know, aiming high is nothing wrong with that. If you miss, so well, you know, maybe you only make 5 or 7 or something, right? But it's totally possible to do it though.
And if you're learning, even just one lot on there gives
Yeah,
you all the learning that you really need. And when you become comfortable with that, you just double, and you become comfortable with that, you double again.
yeah, that's right. And so like right now with my wife learning, you know, I'm showing her, like I say, she's very emotional, very nervous about doing it. But you know, take your time, and you know, if today she made about almost $200, you know, and $200 US for her, it's more than what she makes at work. So you know, it's just a bonus. So you know, for her to hang in there and do that is beautiful for her. You know, so
Oh, the thing is, once you have to just become comfortable with it.
yeah. So that's what transpired today. So again, this is totally doable. You're seeing it, you know, for real in front of your eyes. You know, these trades, George and I are taking them, and hopefully some of you guys are also taking them and seeing that it is totally achievable. Um,
The other thing, Lennox, is that for somebody that's just learning this brand new, all they have to do is go on to a demo chart. If they're on Thinkorswim, they have a paper trading chart, which is 20 minutes behind what's going on for real. But at least you get the same exact same action going on, and you can play it out and perfect your system that way.
yes, I'm just going to take a look at what's going on in insider trading, and I'll real quickly just to see if there's anything. I've also got another one open here, so I'll switch this one to.
Well, this ASAN is really down the bottom at this point.
Oh, it's still down there. So I'm sure it'll turn around because I don't think he's buying out that kind of shares for nothing.
Down at
So
40, I think it's 47.
wow, that's quite a drop from yesterday. I'm surprised. So we could have bought some puts. That's okay. It'll come back. Um, let's see. Unusual options activity. Unusual options volume. Let's see. Unusual options volume. I think this gives us the actual prices of the plays. So let's see if that's so. No, this is not. So it's unusual options activity is the one that we want to look at. This is a good website to spot unusual trades in the options market because every options play has to be made public, and you can see who is buying what calls, what the strike price is, what, and so on, when the expiry date is.
You had the people's names on it, so it was a different.
This is just for this is just unusual stock options activity.
Okay.
So there's a difference between that and insider trading. Is the stock? These are stocks. So
Yeah.
these are the insider guys, including politicians, who are buying. For example, there was one here. I'm going to go by shares volume, and we'll see that. I think Rubbermaid, yeah, Rubbermaid guy here.
Carl Icahn is after
Yeah.
that something.
You've heard that name before, Carl Icahn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a hedge fund guy.
yeah, he sold 10.5 million shares of Newell Rubbermaid at $25.86 per share for a transaction total of $275 million. So why is he selling that company? And NWL. So if we look at it, we can see why he's selling.
He had a complaint against him. I forget what the complaint was.
So yeah, he's not liking whatever is going on at this point, and they've been down quite a bit, and so he's selling right now because they got a little bump to the upside, but it looks like they still have some further downside. So that's maybe why he's selling off here.
We're in wave 5, aren't we? Or we're in wave 4 going into wave 5, Lennox?
Take a good look at this. First time looking at this chart, so it's pretty messy. Wow. So we're kind of yeah, it's a very messy chart. Kind of in this, we're inside of a huge triangle type, not even a triangle, it's more of a diagonal type of a structure. So
Yeah.
we've got this diagonal structure going on, and so very choppy. So we could see further choppiness, maybe back down or something like that. We're inside this big, huge structure though, like that. So it's a very choppy affair. So very hard to say, yeah, we're in a 5th wave or something like that at this point, because of what we're in. So overall, yeah, there's some downward pressure. We had a little bounce here from 10, so a lot of buyers, and then now they're selling off up here, right? So that's probably why he's selling at that point. So that's Mr. Icahn. That's a huge, and he's still got 33 million shares in there, and he's selling 10, so he's not hurting.
Oh no, he definitely is not hurting.
And then here's a shareholder for Seagate selling 2 million shares at $108 for 221 million, and he's still holding 13 million shares. So this guy is doing okay. So STX, take a look at STX and see what the difference is. So these are really good to gauge, why somebody would be selling, and and so forth, and maybe opportunities for us to jump in and buy some puts or calls or whatever. So you can see why he's selling, of course, because price has moved all the way to the top here. So it behooves you to take some profit off the table after these kind of runs. You've more than almost tripled your money from down at 40 to 120. So it's time to take some profit off the table. And so that's a smart move on.
This is probably due to a technical reason. This is in the disc manufacturing business, and a lot of this is, your SSD type technology, which is in very short supply now. So it's probably seeing that it's time to take some money off the table.
Yeah, big time. So you're up in that area where it's a good place to do that, before it starts tanking more, because it's formed a 1, 2, 3 here now, and it could go way down. So
if you forget those spikes in price, you almost have a head and shoulders pattern there.
Yes, indeed, at this point. So yeah, and it's looking pretty lean there. we're going to be coming through. Yeah, so this is a great site to check. And this, you can see, I look at it from the shares point of view, and you can get a gauge as to, you see a lot of American shareholders. When I see the CEOs selling and so forth, here's Charles Schwab selling 156,000 shares.
Which is like me selling one share.
Yeah, he's got 112 million left, and he took in 13 million, which is nothing compared to 274 or 221 here. But
yeah, right.
So I wouldn't be crying about that, going home with that though. Still,
yeah. So
yeah, it's a very powerful site to get a gauge of what's going on. So this one it gives you the options explicitly. So Facebook, somebody's buying the 210 calls for 48 cents. And you can see the volume on that is huge, and the open interest is very low. So somebody must be in the know. So the 25th of February, so that's for Friday, they're looking at the 210 calls. So let's take a look at Facebook real quick just to see if there's something about that. That's a huge volume on Facebook. So the 210 calls, wow. I'm not sure I'd be buying the 210 calls at this point, but
yeah.
someone has decided to jump in and buy these. Maybe he knows something, yeah? So they have to move to 210 and higher by Friday, which is here. That's quite a move.
Days away. Well, the 210 calls right now are worth
20?
38 cents.
38. So okay, so that person right now is they bought them at 48, or they were at 48.49. So they're down about 10 cents right now. But there's a huge open interest on that, volume on that. So something's going on there. And so you can see the list of stocks, and you can do them by symbol and so forth. I like to do this by volume, because volume gives you a good idea of which ones have the most interest. So
the volume on that 210 is 66,845.
So it's going up.
Is 11,100.
Yeah, it's going up a lot then. So here are the 210 calls. It's got 43,000 showing here at this point, but yeah, it's yeah. So we kind of look at these just to get a gauge of what's going on in the market overall, and if we can find a stock that shows some like again, this one. This is what the kind we want to see. You want to see open interest smaller, well smaller than the volume, and that's one there. And here's another Facebook one. These are the 205 calls. Here's an Apple one where we got a bigger volume. Tesla also, but Tesla, the price is just ridiculous for Tesla. 800 calls. $790, $800 for one contract, so it's a bit pricey. Here's one, BSX. Never heard of these guys, and that one looks good. So let's take a look at BSX. They're
BSX, okay.
They're $47. They're trading at, so the BSX call 47 for 18th of March.
Oh, this is the March one?
Yes, BSX is in X-ray. Boston Scientific. Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
March 18th or?
Yeah, BSX March 18th calls. The 47 calls.
47 calls are going for 54.5 cents.
Yeah, so somebody's betting that these are going to get up there. So we have a kind of a choppy, it needs to break out to the upside. So these are the kind of things you can gauge whether or not this is a good play or not. by looking at the chart and seeing if there's somebody's in the know and they know something, and this is going to break through this big, huge resistance area that we've got here. So we've got a large 1, 2, 3. So it looks pretty good, but that by March 18th, we should be somewhere up in that area. It does look totally possible that we could make it to that height.
Now, Boston Scientific, I know they make stents, but I don't think they're into any vaccines or anything like that.
Yeah, so again, this is a good way to find little gems amongst the rocks and pebbles in the markets. All right, so that's a look at that. For earnings, of course, we look at earnings. How's our time? 12:30. Time flies, eh? So for earnings today, yesterday, for whatever reason, when we were looking at the earnings, I didn't see Home Depot on the list. It might have been because they were given the earnings this morning.
Oh,
They're on the list, but maybe it's because they were given their earnings in the morning, and that's why I didn't have them on the radar, because that would have been a good one. Here, Lowe's was giving them earnings this morning as well. But so tomorrow, or for today,
Home Depot earnings were down.
yes. But Lowe's earnings were up. Not dramatically, but they were up. So it's kind of interesting. So for tonight, we have eBay and Booking, and so those.
The option volume on eBay.
Yeah, eBay would be a good one. So let's take a look at these two, Booking and eBay. Expected moves 5%, 6%, and 9%. That's a good move. And then another one with 9%, and then 12% for LYV. So Live Nation. Okay, so Booking, BKNG. All right. So let's go to the monthly here. So Booking very strong to the upside here. It's been on the go and choppy, maybe finished, maybe coming back down. Let's go down to the weekly and take a look. Okay, super choppy, but it chopped its way up though. And at this point here, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, and we were on the way back down. So dropping down to the daily, we have, again, now you can clearly see the structure now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this crossed down. So, and then we did another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, back down. So it looks like we could get a bounce, but this stock is super expensive. So all that work here, but the options would be just ridiculously priced. So I'm not even going to bother with it. $2,485 per share, George.
I didn't bother looking them up because I
don't know how many shares. I guess I could buy 1 or 2 shares and hope that it doubles. Yeah, right. Okay, so Booking, no. So let's take a look at eBay.
eBay, I'm on right now.
Okay, so eBay monthly.
Period. The eBay was, well, that's the earnings play, so it would be for the 25th, 2 days from now.
Yeah, so eBay, they've hit a peak and are heading downtown.
Yeah.
In a hurry as well. And next line of defense is down here. So let's put a little,
Give me a strike so I look at.
give me 1 sec. So we're on our way down daily. Still very weak overall. We've got a 1, 2, 3 top right here and here, similar to the indexes. And you see the same kind of setup.
Yeah.
It's moving in tandem with them. So 4 hour, there's our same, same type of setup. 1, 2, 3. We're heading to the downside. 1 hour. There is the large. Again, we were inside this channel, and then we get a 1, 2, 3 top. Boom. And so, yeah, we're still weak. So I would be looking at puts. So what are the 50 puts looking at, like, George?
The 50 puts
For Friday.
for Friday are 81 cents.
So for $81 per contract, you could buy some puts on this guy. So it's definitely slated to fall, but you could get, of course, some weirdo news and that could push it back up. But it looks, that's a reasonable price for that put. I mean, even 5 of them, it's not too bad. So that's eBay looking a little weak here. Let me get a little bigger. So if I go back up to the weekly, no, actually, let me do this. Go back down to the hourly and put the fibs on. So we're looking for target in the 2.618 area. So that takes us down to 52. So it's not really, we're at 55 right now. So
Yeah,
not
the
dramatic.
50 are going for 132.
So the expected move is 9%. So 9% of 55. That's almost $5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might make it to 50. Might. So all depends. So it's kind of an iffy one. Yeah, although I do expect it to fall. So I'll hold on to that. All right. So that's eBay. So earnings for ANSS. Let's see what that one looks like. I'll just do a few of these. So monthly, boy, they've been hit hard, but they're very expensive as well. So you see, everything is doing the same thing. Everything is falling at this point because everybody's sort of on guard. They're not really sure what's going on in the markets, and they're just taking money off the table to hide until things calm down, I suppose, right? And we have a 1, 2, 3 top, another 1, 2, 3. We're on our way down in a hurry here with this guy as well. Okay, so they're pretty expensive.
300s are going for 15 bucks.
Yeah, we're right at 300 right now, so they're pretty expensive. It will be pretty expensive. And then LYV, let's see how much those ones are. Live Nation monthly. Okay, so they've had quite a run from down at $20, wow, to $125. Quite a move. Very strong. And they're still looking pretty good. They're holding up. They're not falling apart up here. You know, it's just a bit choppy, but
Are they going up or down? I wasn't looking at your chart.
well, they're in a. You can see they're in this
wave 4.
wave 4. So we could get a fall in here, but we do have a 1, 2, 3 at this point.
Okay, 115 put is going for about $8 right now.
Yeah, it's expensive. So, you know, we do have a 1, 2, 3 here, but we're in such a chop. It's hard to say if we could bust out. We could, because we're in a choppy. So with a 1, 2, 3 bottom, so we could do that and then bust to the upside, or we could fall back down one more time in this channel. So it's an iffy one on that one. So, okay, so we're sitting at 114. So humor me, George, the 120s and the 110s.
The 120s are 1075, and would you say the 110?
Yes.
575. That's on, oh, you want the calls.
Calls and the puts, yeah.
Okay. Okay, the puts are, the 110 puts are 575,
Okay.
and what other put did
The 120 calls.
120 calls?
Yeah.
Okay, they're at 480, 480.
Okay, so that's 480. So yeah, so that's a very expensive straddle.
Yeah, very expensive, yeah.
So, you know,
So the
if
whole thing would have
if
to
you
move more than $10 just to break even.
yeah, you have to break even by a big move. They're expected to move by about, I think it was 9%, something like that. Let's see. It was an expected move of 15, oh, that's previous, 12%.
That's
So,
awesome.
is it 12? Yeah, 12.5% move. So that would be, you know, almost $14, $15. So you would need that kind of a move to take you. So it's not a good bet,
No, I don't think it's a good bet
because
either.
if it hangs in here still, then you're toast. Okay, so that's, you know, that's again another look at some of those. So going back to IWM, one that we always play. So in the end here, it's moving down in a hurry. And, you know, I was kind of expecting that to happen, but I didn't want to take a chance on this moving back up in any way, and making my options worth less and less as time gets to closer and closer to expiry. So by taking profit at this level, it's fine. And moving back up, your options start to lose their value. This last drop, they're probably worth about the same. So it's not that dramatic difference. So this was the expected move. Like I said, from this morning, I didn't want to go long. I wanted to go short. I was expecting to move to the downside. And here, I was expecting a bounce. I was expecting a bounce up here to get that move down, but we didn't get that. It took a while before we did get it. And then catching it here, that's fine, to the downside. Catching another one even here again to the downside. So that's worked out quite nicely. When you're playing with the puts, it's great because you can buy relatively close, especially because it's expiration day. So buying the 196s, buying the 194s, you know, 194 is when you're here, that kind of thing. And then you take your profits off as you come down. Works out quite nicely. So you're buying low and selling high, and that's the whole key to the game. So it'd be nice to, you know, sit for the whole 6 hours and kind of watch this movement unfold, but you know, it's like watching paint dry half the time. So you don't really want to do that too much, you know. So the first hour, we were on for an hour and a bit there this morning, eh? Hour and 15 or more.
Yeah, the
We
first
watched,
hour is generally pretty good unless you have
yeah,
this range.
we watched this entire move all the way down to here this morning. So at this point again, I was like expecting them to move to the upside because I didn't think it would break this level but it did. So it did eventually come down and break that level, but that was okay. Just pin bar and 1, 2, 3. So back in again to the upside to retrace this move. So that was what I was expecting, a retracement of that move. Find a 1, 2, 3 here, and you can see I'm using the moving averages as a gauge as well. The moving averages are crossing, and anytime we get those crosses, it's just telling us, okay, it's opportunity to jump in. So now at this point, we'd be waiting for them to cross again back to the upside. So it's just a matter now of being patient as it comes down into the bottom of our channel and look for a turnaround. So maybe tomorrow morning it might start turning around. It's possible, but we'll
Right
see.
now you have 15 minutes to closing.
So I'm in the VXX going to the upside right now, and those are looking quite good. So I buy the opposite play. So you can see I'm sitting right on a serious support area though.
Yeah.
Or resistance area, I should say. Sorry, it's right across the board right there. We're right on that. So it looks like it's going to bust through. So I'm going to hold on to them till Friday expiration because I'm expecting further weakness, so further strength in the VXX, further weakness in the indices, and further strength in this guy. So if I'm correct, I can do that. I can hold on to this, and so from here we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this basically is a 1, 2, 3. So this should be a nice push, a nice big move. So something is ominous right now in the market. Like this looks very strong for a big push out. So something is going to break in the markets to push it down further.
Out of that at that first peak in there.
So here's the markets, the markets overall, and they're all pointing down, 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 down. So what we know what the trigger could be, of course, it's this Russian thing more than likely. So
The Russian thing is hard to find out because the news doesn't really report anything that you can believe in.
well, that's why I look at the charts, because the charts tell me everything I need to know. Even if there was no news, the charts would be telling me that we're in an otherwise downward mode, and we can look for prices to come down to this area here, and and continue, because I have a 1, 2, 3 top. I should come here and do something like that still.
Yeah.
So this is what
For the most part, this is true, but if you have a war that legitimately breaks out, you can change course rather quickly.
well, if a war breaks out right now, this is going to be blood red, right?
Yeah.
And we're in a third wave right now, so it's not good, So another way that I was going to touch on this today, but it's really difficult when prices, when you're in the trades and so forth. But I wanted to kind of touch on the Heikin-Nashi charts a little bit, just as another way of looking at the markets, because if anyone's not familiar with the Heikin-Nashi charts, these are really good charts to look at. And the reason why is because they're just green and red. I'm using green and red. They can be any color, of course, but green, of course, going up, red coming down. So the Heikin-Nashi charts compared to the regular charts. So let me just make this a little smaller. So looking from the top of this move, you can see on the Heikin-Nashi charts, 1, 2, 3 down to this level, up, another 1, 2, 3 down to this level, up, another 1, 2, 3 and down. So it's the same kind of thing, but you can see it's just all red here. You get a couple green bars, and then it's all green to the upside. Then it's all red again. You get one green bar, all red to the bottom. Now, if I put the other chart back the regular chart back on, you'll see the difference. There's a lot more green in here, very choppy, a lot more greens. Gets a little bit of greens here, but this is just a lot of greens. So it's a different way of how they how the candles are calculated and so forth, and that's what makes the difference. But
Yeah,
it's
the
kind of
big thing is that it's using 2 candles rather than 1 candle. So
that's
it
right.
moves out the noise quite a bit.
Yes, so they're using the previous candle to calculate the current candle. So in this case here, this current candle, its open is based on the mid of the previous candle. So the opens are always at the middle of the previous candle, and it has no wick at the top. And on these 3 candles, they have no wicks, and the reason they have no wicks is just because it's just showing that from the open it didn't go higher. It didn't go. So when they have no wicks, it's very weak. When they have no wicks going up, it's very strong. And so that's a good way to stay in your trade. If you're getting candles with no wicks at the tops, it's showing that there's a lot of strength or weakness. So in this case, the next candle, we're on a daily time frame here. Next candle is going to open at the mid of this candle. So we open somewhere like this, and we could expect another down candle perhaps, right? There's no guarantee, of course, but that would be the expectation, that we'd get another down candle, and possibly with no wick again, and so on, right? So not boding well for the market at this point based on these candle formations. But I've been writing some an EA based on these candles, and I've been getting some good results. And once again with the EAs, George and I have a template. So we have an EA template essentially. So it's got all the code, and everything is working. So it's running without errors. And this is one of the hardest things that we had to overcome, was to get error-free an error-free code in our EA. So we managed to do that, and so now we have this template. So we can plug any indicator that we want to test and so forth into our EA. So any indicator that we want to check. So I'm looking at the Heikin Ashi with moving average or whatever. I can plug that into our EA, and then we can then check, see the results and see whether or not it's good or bad and so forth. So I've been doing that, and getting some really good results with using the Heikin Ashi candles, because they're so different from the regular candles. It helps. So we will back test further to see. So that, George, I'll have to give that to you so that you can take a look at and get some results for the past 10, 12 years or so.
Yeah.
Then we can see how it fares. But so I've been back testing 2 years, and the results are really good.
Well, just send me the thing and I can run it quickly for you.
So that's that's a look at so a different way of looking at the candle is, like I say, a different way of looking at the charts. It's a really interesting take on them. So let me put back to normal. So there's what it looks like normally. So you notice on this last candle, price is way down here at 192.94. So price did drop quite a bit, 192.94. If I put it back to the Heikin Ashi, price is at 195.62. So it's totally different. The price is different on the Heikin Ashi.
Yeah,
So
you find that the price that you go in at is not usually the price that it looks like on the chart.
That's right. So it can fool you. So Yeah, so this really dropped in the end here, and now we've got an indecision candle on the 15, the 5. So that's what it looks like. Well, that from this morning, quite the move to the downside. So we could have stayed right in those original puts all the way down, George. Those would have been worth a pretty penny. Those 190. We bought the 196. Yeah. Well, I kept well, I got back in again with the 196s, but
Okay.
the 196 puts are about $300 right now.
Yeah.
So that's not bad from when we bought. If we had kept them to their whole day, that's what would have happened.
Okay, we have 5 minutes to close, so if you need to do anything, I'm all set. I don't have anything that I'm going to.
So, do I have any? I've been chatting way too much. Any questions or any comments from anyone? Anything we want to look at?
I took a trade on the euro, made a little bit money.
On the euro?
On the euro hourly, 123.
Euro USD?
Euro USD, yes.
Okay. Who's speaking?
Oh, Khalik.
Oh, hi, Khalik. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's take a look. Let's see what you've got here. My EA has fired off in gold. So that's interesting. So Euro USD. Where's Euro USD? Okay, let me put it here. Euro USD. Okay. So on the 1 hour?
Yes.
And a sell?
A sell, yeah, right where that red bar takes out the number 2. That's where I took it.
Right here?
Yeah. I'm
Excellent.
still in.
And we've got
I'm
a
waiting
drop.
for that 261 to hit. 261%.
Yeah, you can take this right down to the support.
Yeah, that's where I'm waiting for. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a beauty. Nice.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Nice
I mean,
trade. Very nice.
that's our classic, 1, 2, 3. So
Yes.
take advantage of it. Yeah.
I was a little bit conservative. I waited for that big red bar to close down below the 2 right there.
I
So I
see.
took it there instead of a little bit above, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, your area of entries here. So
Right.
even if you're just a little late, that's fine.
Right. So that worked out nicely.
When you have a big red candle like this breaching such a big black candle, green candle, this is like an entry, no problem, right?
Right.
When you got a nice 1, 2, 3, it's
Yes.
good. So that worked nicely. Very good.
Very nicely. Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent.
For,
That's
for
the 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And you can see on the overall we're in a downtrend. And I think we talked about this the other day because we looked at all the US dollar index and we were expecting that to move to the upside. So that's correct. Everything has worked out like we were talking about from the other day that we were expecting a move to the upside. So then we can play the Euro USD to the downside, and that's beautiful.
Correct.
So once you can see that and catch that 1, 2, 3, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and actually I did look at the after I learned from you to look at the dollar index. So I have a chart open for that all the time. So I look at it and I saw
I always have it as well.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yeah, it's good to see what the US dollar is doing because then you get a window into what the other major currencies are doing.
Right. And that's what I was looking at. And I said, oh, this is forming a 1, 2, 3 bottom on the hourly for the dollar. And then I went to the euro and it was forming a top, of course, opposite. And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to wait for a confirmation. And then I go in. So I went in. Yeah.
That's the way. And you could choose any of the current. I mean, the euro because it does the exact opposite is a really play with the US dollar. But Aussie would be doing the same. So Aussie will be falling. So and the GBP,
British pound would be doing the same.
GBP US dollar will be falling.
Right.
So you want to be able to catch these guys, the New Zealand US dollar. So, if you're playing the euro, you don't have to play the New Zealand or the Aussie or the GBP. It's not necessary. You can, but it's not necessary, right?
Right, and you're so right. If you look at all the ones that would correlate to the euro, you can pick the best one for
That's
your
right.
1, 2, 3,
Right,
and then go with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because some of them are not as good looking 1, 2, 3s.
That's
and
right.
some of them are. So you just pick the right one and hope for the best.
There's the bell.
Okay, the battle is over. And so with the USD CAD, that should be going with the
Opposite.
US dollar to the upside.
Yes,
The
that's right.
USD Swiss should be going with the US dollar to the upside.
Right.
This one's a little different. It's not doing it but they're not always going to be doing exactly the same. So you have to be careful. That's, you
Right.
can't just take it carte blanche that they're going to do exactly the same thing. So
That's
these two, USD JPY and USD Swiss, are not. And that's because we're in a political situation where everybody's kind of edgy. And so more money will be running into the Japanese yen and the Swiss at this point than and so on. So they can have a lot of strength as well.
That's right.
I see that the EA is fired off on gold for me here. So here's my gold, and it's a buy. So that's good because gold's been very strong. So I'm glad the EA has chosen to buy. so,
All right.
so that's a good thing. Yeah. I'm glad for you there, Kali. That's the way to do it. It works. It's just a matter of being vigilant and being patient.
Yes, I took a small trade, 1/10 of a lot. I didn't want to go too high, just to be safe.
Yes,
But it's still money in the bank, so that's fine.
that's right.
Yeah, you're doing a nice job, Kylie.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All right, so that's another day in the books. So we'll see how this opens up tomorrow morning. You can see right now, after this move today, we're right back down very close to our bottom of the channel. So it is possible that we could get a turn back up and a 1, 2, 3 bottom and push back up to the top of this channel again. So that might be something that we can watch out for tomorrow. It's also possible that we could just continue falling right through. If that's the case, then that's very ominous. We fall out of our channel. All right. So,
okay.
Any other questions, comments from anyone? If not, we will call it a day.
Thanks, George and Lennox.
Thanks,
Thank
Stacy.
you for
You've been very quiet, Stacy. Things are going good?
I'm just sucking it all in. Yeah, the last 2 days I've made a good chunk of change.
Oh, excellent. Good to hear.
Very good.
You can't keep that secret there, Stacy. You got to take me out for dinner and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Well, I'm glad that you're making some money, and hopefully, what I'm showing you here, when you're seeing it live, it's making sense. I'm not getting it perfectly correct every time. Expectations, like here this morning, that expectation that we're going to bounce did not happen. But you have to be, aware that you're not always going to get it perfectly right. So it went a little lower, that's fine, and it turns around and you catch it at that point, it works. So
there's a big difference though when you're doing it and you see the chart. Like you and George can really see if the market is weak or strong, and then I don't know, there's just something about you guys seeing it versus me seeing it. And that's just experience.
Yeah, it's experience and time and patience and all that kind of stuff. And the same thing my wife is saying to me, I don't know how you see it like that. And it's like, well, yeah, I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of see it. But like I say, I'm not going to get it right every time, but you get a gauge for, where you are on the chart and what you should expect to happen and so forth. So, we always have to have an expectation. And if you can get that, close to being correct, you have a chance of making some money. Like what Khalid
Yeah,
did
well,
there with the 123 top in Euro USD. That's like perfection, right?
yeah, I was watching the Russell or the US 2000, same as the Russell or similar,
Yeah,
and I got the down, and then I got out when you got out, but then I
yes,
watched the up, so I got in at the up, and then I got in at the down again.
excellent, and that's that's beautiful. I mean, for me today was great. It's some nice option plays there. So yeah, that's what we want. We want to be able to get in for as inexpensively as possible and get out with some profits, and that's what keeps your account growing.
Yeah, no, it's been very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
I want us all to make a lot of money so we can go to this place called Joffrey's in Malibu. It's, $300 a plate. That's okay.
And you're buying?
Once I make some money, yes.
You can
It's
send
on
me
the
an airplane ticket too, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. And it's on the beach. You're sitting on the dock
In
and eating.
Malibu. Wow,
Yes,
that's
Malibu.
great.
It's nice.
I like that.
Yeah, you might see some celebrities once in a while. It's nice.
Sounds good.
I've only been there once. Couldn't afford it after that.
Well, I've never been, so there we go. All right. Well, thanks everyone. We appreciate your feedback and your kind comments and words. And this is what it's all about. We're trying to show you that it is possible to do this. Doesn't matter what the time frame. Like you see Kalik on the hourly, it's the same principles work even down on the 1 minute time frame. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh no, it's not tomorrow morning.
No,
Friday morning.
Tomorrow is the planning session, right?
Actually, I'm going to see. I'll be on tonight for a webinar.
Oh, that's right. It's tonight. Yes.
Our webinar time, I think it's 8 o'clock tonight. Have we changed that, Vic, to 8 o'clock tonight? Is that so?
Oh, is that changed the time
I'm
to
not sure. Is
to
Vic there?
11 o'clock my time? You mean I can get to sleep earlier?
Let me just see. Training session tonight. 9. No, it's at 9.
Oh, that's the
It's at
same.
9, yeah. When I registered, it was 9.
No, we did not make that change yet. Maybe next week.
Okay. All right. We were thinking about changing it to 8 p.m. Eastern, but it will be 9 tonight. Maybe next week we'll have it to 8.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I guess it makes
sounds
for a
good.
long day on Wednesday, 2 sessions, and then plus the webinar again. So no rest for the wicked, I hear, though. That's what they say, right? All
It all
right.
works out.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Lennox
Yeah,
and George.
we'll see you tonight.
Take
If not,
care.
we'll see you Friday morning.
Okay,
All right. So take care.
you too.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Lennox.
Sure.